up, guys? Evergreen Fly Guy here. We're gonna do another Fly Giant video, as you might have guessed, because I'm at the table. So this is gonna be off our 25 essential flies to have in your box list, the 25 of the best overall pattern from Field and Stream. This is gonna be the Royal Wulffle. I don't know. I think I had it right one of those times. I hope. it's a dry fly. You have them in all kinds of sizes. For this particular one, we're gonna use a what is this? Size 10, and this is advertised as a streamer nymph hook. We're just doing a size 10 because it's a little bit harder to see from my camera in smaller things, so we're going to tie it in a bigger one just for that. But you could do it in a size 12, size 14. I did it in a 12 to start with, and it was my first attempt. It did not come out very good. That will not even fish because I think I covered up the eyelid. My first 10 I did, I left a little bit too much at the tip, but other than that it came out pretty good. This has been a little bit of a challenge for me. So hopefully this one will be good. This is actually one of my favorite dry flies. I don't know, I guess it's just the color in the middle. And I think I caught my very first native brook trout in North Carolina on something similar to that. I think it was a style of a Royal Wulff, but it was like I think it was like orange instead of red. But I'm gonna get everything set up and we'll just get right into it, guys. Alright guys, I'm having a heck of a time trying to get this calf hair in position all of a sudden. The last two flies, this was actually one of the fairly easier parts of the fly, but for whatever reason this time it's just not going very smooth, so that's why you're probably going to see a few delays in here. I like to try to keep mess ups up, but if it takes too long then there's no point in putting it in, and I've had to redo this like 4 times already. So just gonna get a good grip, distance of it there, just so it sticks out a little bit. Keep it tight, try to keep it on top of the hook. Push it back, circle it back there so it stands up straight. Come back around, tie that tight in, real tight in. There we go. I'm going to cut this right here, just to leave a little bit, because we're going to use it in a minute. So, now my favorite part is splitting this. You probably can't see me splitting this, I apologize. But I'm just grabbing one section of wings, pulling it apart, and then splitting it down the middle. You see that there at the end? And then you want to like figure 8 this to try to keep it in place. Really pinched my finger there, poked my finger. But this will fight you every step of the way, and it's actually pretty difficult to do these wings here, I've found. Ugh. So yeah, gosh, I'm just gonna have to keep messing with it until I kind of come up with something to get it somewhat separated, because sometimes I really can't get the figure 8 going on it. Sometimes it's just that's all you can get. I have a real hard time working with the calf hair, and every fly I've done with it so far, it's just so loose. But right now I'm just building up that little ramp there with what was left of the calf hair. Just like that. And then you can come take this back through here and try to fix your wings up a little bit. I'm gonna put a little thread out here too. Make sure you keep the gap though as best you can. I'm gonna set this back here. Now you can take a little head cement if you'd like, and you can just drop a little bit in the middle there to keep that held. Got a little fiber hooking out, try to get it out of the way. Alright, now at this point I have my hair separated and whatnot. I'm going to do our tail. For our tail, if you have it, I would use a moose fur. Moose hair. I don't have that, so I'm just going to grab a little piece of this bucktail here, and I'm going to cut out that brown section. I'm going to cut off just a little chunk. because you don't need too much for this. Make sure I prune it all down, just taking it out, stripping it out how it needs to be. You can even it up in your hair stacker if you'd like. I just cut some down right here in my fingers for this tail. It's not going to be too bad. And the tail is going to come down right here in behind of that little step down body thing we just made. So let me walk my thread back down here, and I'm going to reach up and just grab that hair and just start wrapping down, going down toward the bottom of the fly. And I go all the way down to the hook base here, just at the bend of the hook. There we go. Now if that's a little too long for you, you can take your scissors and trim it. I might just do just a little bit like that. I think that's fine. Now at this point we're going to get some Peacock Arrows. I try to find two good sized long ones, or even sized ones is going to be better. Just 3 of them. Now with these we got to turn them into a rope. So you could tie them in and then grab them with your if you had some pincher type things like this item right here. Mine doesn't work that great. I actually found it was quite a bit easier to hold them with my fingers than to attempt to use that. So I just cut a few inches off the tip because the tips are pretty brittle, and then I just twist up. I just twist it in my hand, just twist it together. And then I take these tips and I just, as best I can, to grab it. It's not gonna matter because the herl's so you know, not too strong, so it'll just fold right in and it's not gonna leave a big gap on you. Now I'm gonna walk my thread back up. Try to stay away from all these fibers down here. Alrighty. Sorry, I'm trying to get that on the bottom there. Okay, right in there. Now that they're tied in, you can twist them up a little bit more just by holding them back here and just twisting. Don't twist too hard, you will break them. They are not very strong pieces of material, that is for sure. I'm going to walk my thread a little bit out of the way here. I just take with one hand and I twist around. I try to keep pretty even in my twists, and do watch that hook in your barb there. That will cut this. This is definitely some of the more delicate material you work with. Well, maybe not as much as some others, but it's not exactly the toughest by any means. And if you see your peacock braid there coming undone a little bit, you can stop and retwist it, or you can keep tying it in and kind of twist it up as you go. I've done both. Now I'm just coming in here. I'm going to try to avoid as much as possible getting any of my fibers in here twisted in as I'm coming in here. You might have to come over here and keep moving them back. Moving it around as you get up here. Alrighty, that looks good. Now I'm just going to take my thread in and keep my thread behind these fibers again and lock it in. I'm pretty sure that's enough to lock her in. Uh-oh, I dropped my other thread I'm going to need here in a minute. It's okay, I don't need it right now. Wait. I'm going to double check on that I got that locked in, because it almost seemed like for just a second it wasn't locked in. And I would rather be clear about it than have to come back in and have it pop off and fix it. Sorry, I had to retrieve my other bobbin with the next thread on it. So now I'm going to find a decent hackle feather and I'm going to strip it to how I need it. I'm just using a assortment of hackle. It's got some black in it, it's got some barbed in it, it's got a little bit of everything. I also have some ginger woolly booger hackle that I think wouldn't look too bad either, but we're going to save that for other stuff. I'll try to keep that right there in place. Now I'm going to tie this in on the underside behind the behind our white. Then I'm going to take it forward about 2 turns to get that stem locked in up there. Mine's slipping on me right here. There we go. Now we got it right there. Alright. Now at this point, when your hackle's nice and tied in, you can take it and you wrap it around whichever way you think's gonna start looking the best as you wrap. Try to keep it away from that white. I mean, the white's gonna mix in, but we don't want it to overwhelm it. Now, you usually do about 3 right here, and then we're going to take it and we're going to cross over up to the front. You can kind of push those back a little bit if you think it's getting too wild. And we're going to do about 3 on the front if you can. I think I got room for at least 2. Uh-oh. Yeah, if you got hackle pliers, use some hackle pliers on this, because it's messy with your fingers. Now I've just wrapped back on it just a little bit to catch that and tie it down. Now I'm going to get my big end here that's hanging out, and I'm going to leave it in here, and I'm going to cut it, get it out, because it just doesn't look right to leave it in there. Do a little bit more. Fluff this back up like it should be. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to take my whip finish tool right here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some whip finishes down on the head. Oh, I'm getting too many fibers in there that I'd like to. Try to avoid getting fibers in there, and sometimes it's, you know, you can't help it, but if you can, try to avoid it. And sometimes if you do, you can kind of pick them out. And don't feel bad if you do like I did, and then you can just cut them up here if they don't want to go back in place. We got so many hackle fibers up there, it didn't really make much of a difference. And cut that. You could go ahead and apply some head cement, which I think I'm going to. If you want, you could wait until after, because we're still going to be tying a little bit. If you don't want to get the glue on you, or afraid to get the glue on you. So that takes care of that. There's some glue right there. I'll push this back forward. Try not to get it in the glue. Now at this point I'm going to take my other bobbin here that has my red thread loaded on it. You don't need 2 bobbins at all to do this. You could just switch it over. I just happen to have an extra, so it makes it a little easier. And I'm just kind of trying to find the midpoint here. And again, you want to watch out for these stray fibers right here. Back it down. Let me cut my tag here. Make that a little easier. Now, depending on what shade of red you have for your thread, I have more of a darker red, so I'm gonna probably put a few layers of this through here just to make it more prominent. And bright, very visible. I'm just going to do that for a little bit until, 1, I've covered all the green peacock fibers that are sticking up in the red, and 2, I'm satisfied that it's very visible. It's pretty visible as it is, but I still see a little green peeking through, And since this one's came out great for the camera, thankfully, I want to make it look as good as I can. And I have plenty of red thread, so no big deal. Alright, I think we look good. Alright, so now I'm gonna pull my thread out a little extra, more than I normally would, because we're gonna need to do a big whip finish here to get a hold of this. Take it over that, twist it, over it, twist it, over it, twist it. There we go, that's a good amount of times. Pull it tight, snip off that. I would recommend that you put a little head cement here on this thread body as well, to just give a little extra insurance that it's not going to come undone. I got a little bit on my feathers, or on my hackle here. Pull this. Gosh. Alright guys, there is our Royal Wulff, and that is in a size 10. I would recommend smaller, but it came out really good, looking good for the camera. I'm real proud of it. Alright guys, that has been the Royal Wulff, I can't pronounce it, in a size 10. That's a dry fly. It's an excellent trout fly. It's a part of our top 25 best flies according to the Field and Stream list that I've been going through. I think we've done maybe like 5 now, or more, 5 or more now. The next fly I'm going to be tying is not on that list, but it should be, because it's also incredibly popular. Unless it is on the list and I just haven't missed it. I keep missing it. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and most importantly, get out there and catch some fish, guys.